Hey, good evening, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here. It is a Thursday, and it is August 14th. We are seeing the heat and humidity make a big return. The good news today is we've seen fewer storms. We are going to talk a little bit about the wettest August on record with Tim coming up later. We've had one of the wettest, but not as wet as you might think because, it's still the middle of the month, by the way. We still got a ways to go. And remember, we've had a lot of tropical systems in the month of August in the past, so there has been wetter August periods than this that we've seen. But let's start with a view outside because it is a great looking sky today. We've got some dark looking clouds looking off towards the west from our Dallas camera, our Mr. Sparky camera network. It's clearly showing some sunshine, but also some billowing clouds there as we do have some scattered thunderstorms developing. We'll switch to our WCNC camera here off the Billy Graham Parkway. This is a great shot because you can see the blue skies and it looks pretty nice out there. But if you look off over the horizon there, over the skyline, our gorgeous skyline there, you can actually see a cumulonimbus cloud. That's the beginning of a thunderstorm north of Charlotte. That's up towards Lake Norman. And we'll just kind of focus on this for a second because I want you to look at that cloud because I'm going to show you what it looks like on the radar here coming up in a second. But let's take a close look at that. I'll kind of give my cursor there. So right there, that cloud, that is a big thunderstorm developing north of Charlotte. There's Uptown in the foreground. You see our wasp, our friendly wasp there. But that thunderstorm is up north of Charlotte. And let's focus in on where that storm is. I'll go to the radar and we'll switch over and you'll see a couple storms out there. We've got one south of Charlotte, but let me show you the storm you just saw from our camera there. Doesn't look as impressive on the radar, but that's the storm. It's up near Huntersville, near 485. So that was the storm we saw from our camera. Now to the south, there's a bigger storm. This is the one that moved over Lake Wiley just a while ago. This one's moving between the York and the Chester County line. This is drifting to the south. I'm going to loop this a couple of times just so you can see the general movement, but also notice those green little lines, those outflow boundaries that you hear us talk a lot about. All these storms are producing some outflow boundaries, which are essentially mini cool fronts, rushes of cool air coming out of these storms, and these are going to collide and likely produce some additional storms. And area I'm going to watch is just west of Charlotte. That's where those dark clouds were on our Dallas camera because you could see some of these colliding across Cleveland County, Lincoln County, Gaston County, so maybe a couple storms developing there. We go to the north, we've got a couple stronger storms developing, it looks like right now, up in the areas around Caldwell County, moving down into Burke County. And if you notice the general movement right now, it's kind of north to south. There's a weak cold front coming in. It's not going to cool us off, but it is triggering some of these showers and storms that we're seeing this afternoon. I'll widen the view and you can kind of see, if I were to draw that front on here, I'll actually try to draw it on here real quickly just to show you what I'm talking about. I need to get my cold front. The cold front is somewhere right at here, so kind of roughly in that vicinity, kind of sagging to the south. So if we see a scattered shower storm, that would be the case. So tonight, I expect temperatures will fall back into the 70s. As we look ahead to tomorrow, it's going to get toasty, guys. The heat is back. It's kind of came back the last couple of days. We've had a cool start. We've talked a lot about that on the show the last week and a half. But this has been the last 2 days, the first days in a row, consecutive days in a row above normal since July. So it is starting to heat up out there. The current temperatures, by the way, actually briefly dipped from the upper 80s. We're in the mid 80s right now, but here's something that is going to be the thing that smacks you in the face in the next couple of days, the dew point. These are sky high dew points right now. We're talking air you can wear mid 70s, even upper 70s. Look at Lincolnton, 77 degree dew point. So super sticky air. And part of the reason is, yes, the air mass over us is incredibly humid, but remember all the rain we just talked about, 6 to 8, 10 inches of rain, that moisture is sitting in the soil, it's sitting in vegetation. It's not corn sweat like they have in the Midwest, but this is going to be the kind of moisture that's getting added to our lower atmosphere over the coming days. And because of that, when we look at the dew point forecast, it is really, really high. You're talking dew points consistently in the mid 70s for the next 7 days. So not a lot of relief from the super sticky air out there. Let's take a look at the future cast. We'll kind of show you the rain chances diminishing tonight with loss of heating, which is something we didn't see last night. We told you that we were going to see rain overnight, and sure enough, we did. And it was that was the heaviest rain of the day, actually. It was before you got up this morning. Tomorrow, during the day, notice lots of sunshine, and just an isolated storm. In fact, it could be dry for most of the day. And as we go through time, you'll see even on Friday evening, not much in the way of rain. It's actually getting drier and drier. Now, Saturday morning, a few pop-up storms to our south in the morning hours. And then as we go into the afternoon, another day with relatively dry conditions. So honestly, it looks like we're starting to see the pattern change a little bit with drier and calmer weather going into the upcoming weekend. And that's going to lead to some pretty hot conditions. Now, Tim and I are going to talk a lot about this coming up. We're going to talk about Erin. Some interesting things going out there right now because the hurricane hunters, Miss Piggy, is heading into this storm currently, and we should get some updated data. You can see the windward islands there, Puerto Rico, San Juan, off to the left there. The storm still trying to organize. It's going to probably start to ramp up pretty quickly here in the next 24 to 36 hours. Right now, the 5 o'clock advisory has Tropical Storm Erin with winds of 60 miles per hour. It's moving west pretty quickly, 17 miles per hour, but it is expected to gain strength rapidly here by the start of the weekend. So by Sunday morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning, this could be a Category 2 storm with winds of 105, 110 miles an hour. Could be even higher than that. These might be low because we're kind of forecasting some rapid intensification here. And by Tuesday, 2 p.m., which is, it'll still be well to our southeast. It's getting closer to the United States and Bermuda, but this kind of shows you how long these systems take to move across the Atlantic. It first formed last Saturday, and today it's just halfway across the Atlantic. In another 5 days, it's still only between the Bahamas and Bermuda. So kind of tells you the timeline of these things. We have time to watch these. And the good news is, even though we're expecting this to be a strong storm, all of the guidance continues to be very consistent with keeping it offshore. The only concern here is there's a pretty big spread in the guidance, and I think we'll talk about this with Tim. Some of the outliers on the left are pretty close to the Outer Banks, but not exactly onshore, and a lot of them are more pretty much right between the Outer Banks and Bermuda, kind of splitting the uprights. Now, regardless of the track, it's going to generate huge swells. We're talking offshore 25 foot waves. These swells are going to build up over time. That's going to push water towards the coast of the Carolinas and really, frankly, the entire East Coast. And that is going to provide rough surf, some beach erosion, maybe even some coastal flooding in some of the low-lying areas that are susceptible to that with high tides. Because the high tides will come up, they won't really go down because the water is going to be pushing ashore. And then really dangerous rip currents. I think today we read something like this past weekend there was 180 rescues along the coast from rip currents. Just stay out of the water next week because this could be really problematic with the rip currents being out there, and that could be an ongoing issue. So I'll show you the 7-day forecast here. It's hot. I mean, our average high is down to 89. Our average low is down to 69. And over the next 5-6 days, we're going to be way above normal. So that means less rain, but a lot more heat and humidity. And with all the moisture around, it doesn't take much to get a pop-up storm. If we go 10 days into the future, we're starting to get towards the start of school coming up here. I mean, this will be the last 10 days before CMS goes back to school. And we are going to see temperatures starting to cool down a little bit by next weekend. And it should start to feel like late summer. So coming up, Tim Buckley's going to join me here from WFMY. We're going to talk about an earthquake that happened today in western North Carolina, which, believe it or not, some people around the Charlotte area reported feeling it. We're also going to talk extensively about what's going on with Erin right now and what some of the possibilities are, because the recon is out there right now. We'll take a closer look at some of the recon and possibly show you some of the data starting to come in from the hurricane hunters, which the first plane out there was the NOAA P3, which is the NOAA aircraft. It actually has a tail radar on it, so it's going to be collecting some pretty good data for us, and that actually goes into the modeling. So tonight, we're going to have possibly some better data going into some of the guidance. So we'll be talking about that coming up here in just a few seconds.